All right, got put in pieces here. Does one need to be a scientist and a mathematician, a good one, to know that 2 + 2 equals 4 and not any other number? Well, the answer is yes. That's the basis of mathematics. Well, what about religious beliefs? Where does a religious belief, which is the acceptance of irrational imaginary friends and delusions to be reality, where does mathematics, science, comes from? The answer is simple. The brain. Right here. Compendium of neurons, synapses, quadrillion of these cells, with, of course, DNA, which created them, which proves evolution, and they're all like universes within, passing information since we are born. Actually before, but the senses, the senses of our eyes and sight begins to acquire information. The fact is, we evolved mutated primates, create, believe, and thoughts with our brains. The universe is within. And no scholar, scientist, mentions this. You have brilliant people like Dr. Kako, Einstein, Dawkins, everyone. They go into minutia and complete information and all these sciences and everything else. But they never say, hey, I was born without belief, and I acquired belief, and I got myself educated, and I can tell between fantasy and reality, and everything is being produced by my brain. If I have a problem with my brain, like having a schizophrenia or schizotypal disorder, then the perception of reality is distorted. This happening in religious people, of course, and the information is inaccurate. But nevertheless, we are born atheists, lacking belief. Our brains are tabula rasa, but unfortunately, all the countries in the world, the majority are religious, are infected with religious psychosis, because believing God answers everything, and it causes really good feelings. Reality is a bitch. I mean, reality, down to us reality, life is hard. And if you have to study science, you have to study whatever you're studying. A kid that is 8 years old, he'd rather play, go to Disneyland, believe in this fantasy world, and it's more fun for him than actually going and reading a book and studying about life and everything else. So that's what religion is accepted better, and it's a mental illness, a disturbance of the brain that of course induces dopamine, neurotransmitter in the brain that makes it feel good. And science and study books and all that, no, that's the reason you don't see in a classroom that many intelligent, high-grade students. They are the minority. So this dopamine-induced and belief in God and rest of fantasies and fairy tales, you want to keep them, even though when you're an adult. And it answers everything. So religious belief are basically fairy tales for adults. That's what it is. It's like saying 2 + 2 equals anything but 4. So when a kid keeps believing, they grows up in adulthood, and is still believing in Mickey Mouse, Santa, all the rest of religious characters, is accurate to call them retarded. If you can see, all the religious stack in one book, and with different texts, religion texts, they're originated in the past, accepted as reality, and let's say in the 12th century. So, but accepting a reality today, going to church and going all this stuff and keeping reading them, that's retardation. That's the reason why I call religious people retarded, which they are. It is a fact. We are simply evolved, mutated, crazy primates. We are not normal. because we created delusions, accepting them as reality to explain our existence. In other words, we created God and other concepts, and thus been, an irrational ape. And we're, of course, destroying the planet in the process. But religion, the idea of religion, as I said before in my previous video, it was due to the ingestion of entheogens and psychotropic substances which affected the brain, which created all these delusions and all this. So religion was created, organized and everything, as I said, in Egypt. Book of the Dead, as I said before. For the Egyptians, life started with an act of masturbation by gods that live in the stars. They didn't know what the firmament was. So, there is always orgasm when we have sex, we procreate. For them, semen and breast milk, which sustain life in babies, it was sacred. So as I said in my previous videos, this is actually a fact. This is reality. It's there. The epigraphy is right there to show this is true. So the Egyptians depicted all this. Or they got a tune masturbating, which, by the way, his sacred fruit was lettuce, because lettuce, when you cut it, creates this white milk, this liquid. And the breast milk is also considered sacred. And the lady's tit is very similar to the glands of a penis. So as you can see in the Venus of Willendorf, even 40,000 years previously, there's always an equation, there's always a connection between a penis and a lady's. Notice the ridges on the lady's breast. Why ridges? Is the depiction of the head, the glands. And also here, you see the Venus Capitoline, the life giver, equated with the Virgin Mary. All Abrahamic religions originated from all of this. From Egypt originated, from all the texts, the whole thing mutated into, which is known today as Abrahamic religions. Abraham, all these characters did not exist at all. There's no proof. There's no evidence. Zero. But Abrahamic means that there's this man named Abraham, that God told him to sacrifice his son, and, well, you know the story. From there, originated, of course, the Christus much later, because they have to create a New Testament. By the way, testament becomes testis. It comes from the scrotum, from testis. The Lord penis Christ, as I said. But then, in Judaism, you have this Abraham, Isaac, which from the same character, and everything happening supposedly in Jerusalem in the Mount Moriah, originated Ishmael. Muslims adopted all that. All from mythologies. These people believe that 2 + 2 is anything except 4. That's what's religion for you. It's a form of mental illness. It disrupts the intellect. And this is the greatest problem today. These people don't realize that we create God with our brains. And today we're in the 21st century. In ancient times, the Egyptians believed that every thought and feeling was in the heart. Not the brain. The brain, they didn't know what the brain was for. During mummification, they got rid of it. Watch this video, you'll learn the truth of it all. The problem with religious beliefs, which I call faith-psychosis, is that they dull and stagnate the mind. And the parents infect their children and so forth, and whole generations, so it keeps stagnating. They make them retarded, because people that believe in God are simply retarded. They have no idea what 2 + 2 = 4. This becomes a problem. Do you know that many of the mythological characters came from fossils? Perhaps like this one of all religious services in the world today feed ignorance and intellectual stagnation. Pace de oro.